August 23rd, 1978. One of my all-time favorite basketball players was born that day. Kobe being Bryant. A lot of my life had a lot to do with Kobe, or Kobe had a big influence on my life, especially when it came to sports. As most kids can say, especially if you were born in the '90s. What the next generation won't ever understand was, to us, he was our Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan to '80s babies was the greatest player ever. Kobe Bryant for us was Michael. He was our greatest player ever. He was on a different level. His work ethic meant everything. But even everything that he did on the court, off the court, he was even a better person. He was a better father. And I think that his death and everyone else on that flight, I think that's what hurts us the most. That he was with his daughter, his daughter's kid. They were going to practice. That was time that he was spending with his family and family friends that all played the game that he loved. And it's still surreal for a lot of us. It's very surreal for a lot of us. But I'd just like to talk to y'all a little bit about his influence on me. All growing up, I had to deal with Kobe as a relations to our last name. First thing everybody thought of was Kobe when they heard my last name. May not necessarily because I actually played basketball or anything like that, but the fact that we had the same last name, he made our last name so popular. He was the first. Anytime I played any sport, it seemed like I was always given the number 8. It was not by my choice so much at first, but as I grew up, I started to enjoy the fact that I was always compared to Kobe. I looked at that as something truly amazing. Uh, I always would joke and mess around and tell people, Kobe's my uncle. Yeah, Uncle Kobe. Look at me, I'm 6'2". I play basketball. I'm athletic, There ain't no way you can tell me I'm not. You don't have proof, So I always joked about it, but it seemed like in the back of my head, I was like, you know what, maybe I am related to Kobe. So it's just a fun little joke I always kept going. But I always watched his highlights. I always watched his film. I've watched so many interviews that has to do with Kobe because I love to hear him truly speak on the game. He was, as we all know, he was very intelligent. And like I said, with him being so smart and love the game so much, the fact that his work ethic matched that energy is what made him so great. All Kobe wanted to do was win championships. He wanted to be the greatest basketball player of all time. But he never let that get in the way of stopping him from being a great family man. The fact that one of the craziest things about this for me is Gigi, his 13-year-old daughter, was on the flight with him. Anybody who knows anything, even the smallest bit about Kobe, knows that Gigi was the daughter that he pumped his basketball knowledge into. Um, she was willing. She was willing. She was ready. She wanted the pressure of being Kobe Bryant's daughter. She wanted that pressure to be his legacy, and she was holding it very well. She was holding it very well. I mean, all the stories about them too, and you can just simply scroll on Twitter and you will see countless items and interviews and just him talking about his daughter or talking with his daughter about the game that they both love. It's truly it's mesmerizing, It's insane. Um, but back to just the number 8 in general for me. It meant everything to me. I actually to this day I still use 8 in everything I have. My all the way to my Xbox account. My passwords. Anything I ever needed, 8 was kind of like my go-to number. That I mean, it didn't matter what sport I played at this point. As I grew up, I was always an 8. Or I made sure 8 was somewhere part of the number, whether it was baseball, soccer, basketball, football. Um, One of my favorite quotes from Kobe ever was his commercial with Kanye West, and he told him, Uh, he said we are. He said we are the same animal but different beasts, and I've always loved that. I always want to be the best, and that's how I always compare myself at like that. Whether I was ever on that level or not, I wanted to be the same animal they were, but I wanted to be a different beast. I wanted to be the great like them, but I still wanted to do it my own way. And like I said, man, it's just tough. And then my favorite basketball player of all time is Tracy McGrady. And to see the bond that they had, especially growing their careers through the NBA and now after, as they did interviews together, it's awesome. They have an interview that they did. And just listening to their stories it is awesome. There was one game where Kobe and T Mac matched up with each other. T Mac had actually had a bad back at this time. Where it got to Kobe, and they came in the locker room before the game, and they told Kobe, Mac is ready for you. Mac is ready. He's here to bring some game. Kobe said, "Okay, well, how's that back doing? Because we gonna find out." So the game begins. Tracy is cooking. Tracy got 21 in the first half. Like, my boy is balling, and I guess T Mac came down with a rebound, and that was Kobe's time. They said Kobe kind of gave him a little chicken wing, a little elbow to that back, and ended up putting T Mac out for the rest of the game. But and it wasn't dirty in any way. It was just he was testing that back out to see how he really felt, if that back was healthy enough to continue to beat them for that game. And that was just Kobe was so willing to do whatever to get that edge on his opponent, and I loved it. And Kobe's biggest thing when you're growing up and you were watching Kobe, everyone kind of questioned if he can do it without Shaq. Shaq has 4 rings. 3 of his 4 rings were with Kobe. Kobe was young at the time. That's when Kobe was still in number 8 jersey, and when he won those 3 with Shaq. But everyone used to always say Shaq, Keri, Kobe, but so on and so forth. So it made those next 2 rings for Kobe even more special because he finally didn't do it with Shaq. He did it without him, and I mean anybody. Like I said, you can see the influences around the world. You have soccer players, tennis players. Like this came out of nowhere. This was if you're an athlete, if you're a sports icon, whether you like Kobe or not, you respected him for his work ethic and how great he was. He was a true inspiration to. I will firmly probably stand on 70% of today's athletes because that is what we knew. He was our standard. He was our gold measure. Um, like I said, we didn't see a lot of MJ. What we saw maybe 2. If you're a '90s baby, you can probably truly remember maybe 1 or 2 seasons of Michael Jordan, and that's when he played for the Wizards. He was a lot older. He was not nowhere near his prime. So we got Kobe, and we got to grow and watch Kobe. I like to say Kobe always was very talented, but I like to say Kobe was almost kind of created. He came in the NBA at a time where the greats were just not finishing their careers. But what they were doing was they always was so hard on him. They knew his daddy was Bean Bryant, senior. They knew he had the name and the skill set. So what they did was they kind of bullied him around. They pushed him around. They made him be better than he could have possibly been. Um, I'll never forget the series against the Jazz in the playoffs where Kobe actually came out and missed. Not even he airballed some huge shots in crucial times. And I remember him saying, that offseason, all he could do was replay that series. And he grinded, he shot so many jump shots in the gym. That's all he thought about. As a matter of fact, I want to say his first game that next season was against the Jazz, and he made sure to give the Jazz all that they can handle because he was still so mad at himself of the influence, the way he ended that game. It's crazy. I'm still in shock that this happened. So, if you have not gotten a chance to really truly understand Kobe Bryant, just take some time out of your day and just go ahead and pay attention to that Twitter feed or your Facebook feed. Those sites are gonna have all the clips and the small interviews clips that you're gonna want to see, and just that would kind of give you a small sample size of who Kobe Bryant was. I wish I could have met him in person. I wish I could have watched his game live, but that's something I'm gonna always miss, But rest in peace to Kobe, rest in peace to Gigi, and rest in peace to everyone else on that helicopter flight. Vanessa and the other families, we all have our prayers and our deepest regards for you guys. So everyone could just pray for them. That's all they need right now. Just prayer and support. We all lost a legend, but they lost a father, a husband. So I think that'll conclude it for today. Guys, please comment, share, any of your most favorite Kobe memories, highlights. Please share them for us. Talk to us, send it to us. We'd love to see everybody's inputs on what he did for you. Thank you, MB8. I'll see you guys next time.